Welcome to my chicken compost system, where I make compost using ingredients from around the farm and have the chickens process it for me, so I get a nice finished product that's nice and fine and relatively little work for me, while getting loads of extra food for the chickens. So the whole idea of this is not to waste ingredients in a compost. The chicken compost system is split into 3 zones. Zone 1 is for the ingredients, Zone 2 is for the composting, and Zone 3 is the finishing. I bring in all my food scraps into Zone 1, as well as any other organic matter I can get hold of. So it could be the bedding from the barn where the sheep are, bedding from the chicken coop, the leftovers from making wine or making olive oil, weeds from around the garden, things that we trim, any organic matter comes in here. And basically we lay it on the floor here, and the chickens go through and eat what they want. But it's not just chicken food, it's for composting. So it doesn't matter if they don't eat it. We put everything in here except for nightshades, which is poisonous for chickens, and chicken meat. We can put things like orange skin, orange peel, and it all decomposes within a few days. It's amazing how this works. But the idea is the chickens get their first pick of all of the organic matter that come here, so they get more food, reducing the need to buy food for them or reducing the amount they eat. And then it all just starts to compost here. There's so much life in the compost pile here, so many microorganisms and worms and things, so it just breaks down really, really fast. It doesn't get hot. It's a thin layer, but it breaks down really, really fast. After a couple of weeks, we move everything that's in Zone 1 down to Zone 2, and actually already by then there was compost in Zone 1. It's amazing how in 2 weeks all this thick organic matter becomes black fine particles of compost or humus. But anyway, we move it all into Zone 2, and then the chickens come into Zone 2 and continue digging through it, eating any leftover bits of organic matter, but more to the point, they actually get worms, microorganisms, and bugs that they can eat from this. So the chickens are getting extra food from the ingredients, but also from the life that is available within this compost. Every few days, I come through and I just dig around a little bit if it's too solid from the rain, and move the soil, and that gives them access to find more bugs. So that's a really good way to get them extra food. After 2 weeks, we move everything from Zone 2 to Zone 3. Here in Zone 3, it's pretty much finished compost. There's almost no organic matter here, but it just gives it a nice chance to finish. They go through getting any more seeds, anything that's germinating in here, and cleaning up for us. And what the chickens really do to look for food is they keep scratching at the compost. They keep scratching at the compost, and that act of scratching and pecking at it just smashes up all the organic matter into smaller pieces. And when they have smaller pieces of organic matter, there's more surface area, enabling the microorganisms to break it all down. So it just breaks down much faster than in normal compost piles, and you don't have to do so much turning, but you also get loads of extra food for the chickens from the food scraps and the microorganisms. This compost system's always evolving. I'm always finding out better ways to do it. Originally this was just one long slope, and it went a bit further down, and the ingredients came out the top, and the chickens moved everything downhill, and at the bottom was finished compost. But I often found the ingredients got knocked down and mixed with the final compost. It was hard to know where to work and everything, so I added bits of wood to separate each zone, and that makes Zone 1 not mixed with Zone 2, Zone 2 not mixed with Zone 3, and it keeps it separate. After the 3rd zone, where they're finishing the compost, I can either use it straight from here. I'll just dig this out and put it in a wheelbarrow and take it to the garden. Or I can sift it using this bed frame, and what that does is take out any bits of stone or large pieces of organic matter that have made it in here, and then the sifted compost goes into this box made of pallets, and we have nice sifted finished compost that's ready for using in potting mixes. I'll mix this with soil from my garden and worm castings to make a potting mix for planting plants in pots in the nursery, and I'll just use the compost straight from here when I use this to fertilize vegetables and trees. Another element of this compost system is this little piece of wood. Sometimes I have this piece of wood here, sometimes I have the bed frame, so something to protect the worms from the chickens. So what we can do is put worms under a piece of wood or whatever, so anything that covers the soil, and the worms multiply underneath very quickly. And some of the worms, they wiggle away into the rest of the compost system and become automated chicken food. But every now and then what I can do is move this just slightly, giving access to worms for the chickens, and giving the worms new food. So this can just move around every week slightly, and that keeps the worm population quite high in the compost system and creates extra free food for the worms. So another element of the compost system is water. I put this bit of water here so they have extra water. There's automatic water feeders, but I always like to have a backup. But in the summer, when it's really dry here, I'll have to irrigate this. So I just have a little sprinkler that keeps this all nice and wet, and that keeps the insects, the worms, the microbes all alive and keeps the compost working. If it rained all the time, we wouldn't need this, but here it's really, really dry. This compost system is within the chicken run that's also full of fruit trees that has fruit that falls for them to eat. And it's connected to a natural building chicken house with an automated chicken door. We've also got a nursery where we raise chicks and a separate part for meat chickens. And on the back there we have a chicken food forest with about 50 species of trees and shrubs that drop fruit for them to eat, as well as ground cover. And on the other side is an agroforest which they can go in, and a reforestation field. If you want to know more about this chicken system, I do have a video that summarizes the whole system, so you can check out that video. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below.